Hey guys, Man from Rune. Welcome to the final faction overview video. Today we're going over Gondor, so let's just hop right into it. After this video, I'm probably going to do a lot of wave defense maps and like games against the AI. So look forward to that. But we've got a fun one today. This is probably my favorite faction in the entire mod, Gondor, and you'll see why as we get into it. Alright, so Gondor, let's start a trainer. We'll do the fortress real quick. Okay, so for the fortress, we got the banner, the fortress banners, discounts our heroes and builders. We have the Palace of the Steward. This unlocks Denethor and also unlocks the House of Healing, so that can heal our units and heroes nearby. And of course we got flame munitions for our arrow towers, boiling oil, Numenor stonework, and we have the ivory tower. This provides vision bonus, and it also unlocks these abilities for Denethor. The clairvoyant stone and the ability to unlock these. So for our expansions we have trebuchet, arrow tower, the dormitory, so you get a dismissal bonus. This is the fortress works the same as for Arnor, being a bit overzealous. And then the wall hub. Okay. And then the buildings, of course, we have our farm. We have our standard barracks, default vanilla Gondor barracks. We have our alternative barracks, the fiefdom barracks.
We've improved the barracks. Shouldn't take too long. Let's get working.
We have our archery range.
We've improved the archery range. Where are we building? Let's get
Going kind of fast here, I know. We've got a stables. We got a the siege works. You probably recognize all these buildings from vanilla. And of course, we got our blacksmith. We've got our stoneworker.
We got work to do. We're done building over here. Where are we building?
We got the well and the heroic statue. This works the same as the Arnor heroic statue. Exact same thing. Provides leadership and then it discounts units by 4%. Yeah. The more you have.
Tools ready.
And then of course we have the arrow tower.
Where do I go with this? Clear the land. We've completed this one.
Can build additional wall hubs. And then Gondor has this building, the Dol Amroth Citadel.
Shouldn't take too long.
And because we have so many buildings, the fortress is actually located over here. Alright, so I guess I'm gonna start with these buildings real quick. The forge is very simple. It's basic. Banner carriers, forge blades, and heavy armor. The stonework, this provides additional upgrades, kind of like the library does. So we can get iron ore to discount our heavy armor and forge blades. Grand harvest, so we can buff the income of all our farms by 15%, or 20%, sorry. And siege materials, so whenever a building is destroyed, we get 50% of the refund cost instead of whatever it normally is. I'm actually not sure. Bad player, sorry. Okay. Now, as you can see, we have like the most buildings in the game, so Gondor naturally is going to have the most units. So let's do that, and then we shall go over the spellbook tree. So from our standard barracks, we get 4 units. We get the Gondor soldiers, Gondor spearmen. We get our tower guards.
We guard the White Tower. Hold your head.
And we get the Gondor Citadel guards.
Steel yourselves.
For Gondor, I go in honor.
Each and every one of these units can get banner carriers, heavy armor forge blades, so standard upgrades.
Ready yourselves. My sword is yours.
A little bit about it, the Gondor soldiers. So from this barracks, these guys are basic units. So that's like the 3rd tier of units. And same with these, the Gondor spearmen.
Ready for battle.
The tower guards are regular spearmen, and they get this spear wall formation. I should have gone over formation. These guys real quick. These guys get a block formation or shield wall. It should be block. And these guys also get a porcupine formation. So they get 100% armor, and trampling enemies are stopped immediately. These guys get 80% armor, and trampling enemies will be stopped immediately. Oh, and they can't be crushed too.
At your will.
These guys do not get a formation, but they actually get a weapon toggle, so they can choose between sword and spear. So makes them very good. Gives them different utility against, you know, different enemies.
Move out.
And then we get our Anorian barracks or fiefdom barracks. So you can get the clansmen, the linear pikemen.
Clansmen of Lamadon, ready for orders.
Soldier battalion at the ready. Soldiers.
We have answered the call.
So these are regular units. Oh, sorry. And then we can get Anorian soldiers and Anorian spearmen.
Soldier battalion standing by. Prepare for battle. Soldiers at the ready.
So these clansmen units, each has the Armaments of the White City ability, so they get 33% permanent armor when they reach level 3. And they each receive banner carriers and forge blades. These guys do get a porcupine formation.
What does the steward command?
Soldiers of Gondor.
The Anorian units are regular units, and you also... Okay, no. The mountain, the battalion is the same. And they each receive standard upgrades. The swordsmen are a little bit different though, because they get a charge attack and they get a different block formation where they gain additional 33% armor against crush, pierce, hero range, and cavalry range damage.
Hurry, soldiers. Line it up, men. Be on guard.
Now let's head over to the archer range. The archer range is actually where we get our fire arrow upgrade.
Use the flaming arrows now.
And we have Gondor archers, Black Reveal archers, Ithilien rangers, Anorian archers, and Ithilien scouts.
It's the ring. Archers up ready. Quick, this way. Stay together, men.
These are your basic Gondor archers. They get bombard and standard archer upgrades.
Rest your balls.
The Black Reveal archers also get the Armaments of the White City, a bombard, and
We'll have a better view there.
standard archer upgrades. Anorian archers are the regular Gondor archers. Essentially, they're slightly better and they cost more. Standard archer upgrades and bombard. So Ithilien rangers. These guys shoot quite far. They also get fire arrows. They get long shot. I believe they have to be level 2. And they also get bombard.
Here we go.
Now, the scouts, they also get a bombard, but they get a weapon toggle, which makes them pretty good in melee if you ever get surrounded. And they only get banner carriers. So, but they are advanced archers. They shoot significantly further. They deal more damage. And they do especially more damage against monsters.
Did you hear something?
They also get long shot at level 2.
Where are we building?
For our stables, we get the Gondor Knights.
We ride for the glory
Just
of Gondor.
your standard Gondor Knights. They get a wedge formation. Standard upgrades. They can get shields, which will buy. You need the stables level 3 to get this.
Horse shields are ready. Riders.
Shields, same. They function the same as Rohan. They give additional armor against spears and arrows, and they get a wedge formation. So they get more armor, but less, or more damage, but less armor.
Line up.
We can recruit these Dol Amroth Knights. These are elite cavalry.
Rally together, knights.
They have a leadership that inspires fiefdom and Dol Amroth units. So the fiefdom units are these Black Reveal archers, and then the Linhir pikemen and the... What are they called again? Yes, the Lamadon clansmen. Sorry. So those units, and then there's some Dol Amroth units you can get from here, which we'll go over soon.
Knights of the Silver Swan.
And then they get a charge ability that gives them damage and armor, and then they don't they get trampled deceleration, so they don't actually stop since it's minus 100%. They get that at level 7.
Take them this way.
The siege works real quick. You get trebuchets, and you can get firestones with them to make them even stronger. Now we have this unique building, the Dol Amroth Citadel. Increases the command point limit, and you can get these special units. You can get Swan Knights. These are also elite cav, but they get a different leadership. So this inspires nearby cavalry units. And then they get the same charge ability at level 7. These guys are more expensive though, and they are stronger in terms of trample, armor, health, and melee damage. You get these Swordsmen of the Swan. These are advanced swordsmen. They have significantly more health than your other units, and they also can get standard upgrades. And then you have these men-at-arms.
Soldier battalion standing by.
These are also basic swordsmen, and they get standard upgrades. They're kind of just a cool unit. Don't really see them much because they're at the Citadel. But they're cool. They get buffed by the Cav, obviously, and as you'll see later, Imrahil has a lot of bonuses for himself and fiefdom and Dol Amroth units. So these guys actually count right here as Dol Amroth units, and these guys are just fiefdom units.
Your orders.
So now we're gonna go over the spellbook tree. So Gondor has a very powerful spellbook tree. We get, of course, we get the Horn of Gondor. This gives 50% damage and 20% speed for 20 seconds. Rebuild, heal, Lone Tower. The last fight. So this affects Gandalf. This unlocks an ability on Gandalf, so he can fight Durin's Bane. And if you defeat Durin's Bane, he'll become Gandalf the White permanently. So you don't have to fight him again, and then when he's Gandalf the White, he gains 200% magic damage and recharges all his abilities 25% faster. We have Enderil. This affects Aragorn. Aragorn permanently gains 50% speed, or 50% damage and 15% speed. Force of Ithilien. This is just a terrain buff like all the other ones. Gives 40% armor and resistance to fear and terror. The Grey Company. The Grey Company, you get some decent reinforcements, I guess. You get the Grey Company like Rangers. They're basically just retextures of the Ithilien Rangers, and I think they can toggle their weapon. You get Halbarad. Halbarad has some neat buffs that he can give, and he also is very important for Aragorn, as you'll see later. And you also get the Sons of Elrond too. We have Pleading to the Eagles. You summon Gwaihir and 2 Eagles to aid Gondor for like 2 minutes. You get Flood, also known as the Fury of Osse. And then you can get the Horse Masters of the West. So this has 2 forms. If you don't have first stage for some reason, you summon Theoden, Eowyn, Aramir, and 6 battalions of Rohirrim. But if you do have first stage, you summon Orome with his Hounds of Valinor. And we'll save that for later. I will save the first stage for later.
Anduri, the flame of the west, forged
Let's
from
get
shards
our
of
heroes.
Narsil.
Also forgot this last unit here. Hold on.
I've trained my entire life for the crisis that is now upon us. When the moment comes, I will gladly lay down my life.
I will see the glory of Gondor restored.
We've got work to do.
Glory to your name, sire! Muster
By
your
my life or
courage,
death,
men.
I
We
do protect
march
you.
into battle!
The wizard arrives precisely when he means to.
Soldier battalion standing by.
Okay,
Let's go.
so this is the last unit we'll be looking at for now. These are the Guardians of the White City. This is your heroic
Soldier,
unit.
move it.
They deal heroic damage. They can level up to 10, and they have a leadership. Gives nearby allied units resistance to fear and terror.
Make haste.
Not the most impressive, but they are very high quality units. And you can get 3 of them. So the heroes. We'll actually go over Denethor. So Denethor. Excuse me. Denethor has this ability when you have the Ivory Tower. If you don't have the Ivory Tower, he's kind of just locked into this ability, these abilities right here. So every time you use this, you unlock an ability. So you need to activate this 3 times to get all of them. And you also gain a vision bonus for your for the fortress. The fortress gains a vision bonus. At first it's 400. The next time it will be 800. Then it will be 1600, and then next time it'll reveal the entire map regardless of how large the map is.
Ready for battle.
He has this kind of cool ability called Promotion of the Steward. Basically, you use this on a banner carrier. I think this works on any one of them. Let's see. Any one of the Gondor ones. Yeah, the Gondor units. So use this on any of the Gondor, like, swordsman banner carriers, not the ranger banner carriers. And it promotes them into a tower guard. We'll just use this guy. I think he has to be a little closer.
Hurry, soldiers.
Leave me.
Okay.
Soldiers of
So
Gondor.
now this guy is a Gondor captain. He has heavy armor. He has much higher base health. He has a better weapon. He has a Heart of Fire upgrade, so he provides...
Ready yourselves.
I believe he provides additional armor and damage to the battalion. And also fear resistance.
This way.
Where is Gondor's finest?
Yeah.
Where is my firstborn?
Yeah. For his next ability, he has this... I believe I went over this for Malbeth. It's the same ability. You can tax a farm, basically, and you get a certain... You get like 4 times the amount of what it produces or something. Or 300 times the amount.
Swords.
And then it doesn't produce for a while.
You think you are wise, dears. Yet for all your subtleties, you have not wisdom.
This is not going to unlock it. Using the trainer with that. There we go. For his next ability, you act. It's called emergency. So a Gondor barracks will recruit cheaper versions of units for 2 minutes. So
Gondor's finest. Where is my firstborn?
okay. So these guys, these Gondor units are cheaper. These Gondor soldiers and Gondor spearmen are cheaper. What about this?
Soldier battalion standing by.
Yeah, it only affects
Soldier battalion standing by.
these 2 units.
Make ready. Swords. Stand fast, men.
So you get these units quicker and cheaper. They are weaker though. The pikemen cannot get heavy armor.
Make ready.
The soldiers do not get their formation. And they also have less maximum health.
March! Keep going!
Word has reached my ears. This Aragorn, son of Arathorn.
Will this unlock it?
The ring has been dropped.
No, gonna have to wait a bit to use it again. So we'll just go over his next ability, Command of the Steward. So, depending on who you have on the field, he can activate this ability here to grant an upgrade to either Boromir, Faramir, or Pippin, and they will gain special bonuses.
Good.
We're going to use this to segue into these heroes, and then we'll get back to what Denethor does. We'll start with Pippin.
Really don't like killing.
Pippin has a rock throw, and he can toggle between toggle between his sword and rock. He can hide with his cloak. He has a leadership here, which weirdly enough doesn't affect him, or it affects him, doesn't affect anyone else. So depending on what hero, which Gondor hero you have on the battlefield, he gains a bonus. If Gandalf's on the field, he recharges abilities faster. If Aragorn's on the field, he heals 100% faster. If Boromir's on the field, he gains XP twice as fast. If Denethor's on the field, Pippin is 25% faster. If Faramir's on the field, he gains 30% damage. And if Aragorn's on the field, he gains 30% armor. That was a lot. It's actually...
I used to find you remember something about me.
Let's move these guys over here.
Only my flowers.
They may be near.
A wizard arrives precisely when he means to.
I am Isildur's heir.
These borders are well protected.
Carry the face of his old little one.
They haven't seen
Okay,
me angry yet.
so Dagger of the Noldor. This is kind of like Gimli's leap ability, but you need to use it on a target.
What about my brick?
I think Gondor will see it done.
It's the ring.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's kind of like a Hobbit version of Gimli's leap ability.
I think I shall put
And then for his last ability, Squire's level 9, Pippin takes a look into the Palantir of Orthanc, and he sees Sauron. So what this actually means is that he kind of gets stunned by the Eye of Sauron, and it reveals him. And it will stun units if you don't have fear resistance. But this will reveal the Silmaril on the map if you're playing with the Silmaril and you haven't already found it. Now, Denethor...
Who rides with their
Good.
hand?
He unlocked the last ability. So Denethor can grant Pippin new abilities.
Tell me again why I
Fealty
came.
with love.
Have
Okay.
any good stories for me?
So
Valor
he...
with honor. Disloyalty with vengeance.
A pint
Love that voice line. So Pippin gains new abilities. So he was appointed Guardian of the Citadel by Denethor. He permanently gains 25% armor. He still gets all the other bonuses. And now he has this ability, Lighting the Beacon. This interacts with this spellbook power, Horse Masters of the West, if you did not have First Age. So I'm going to quickly segue into the spellbook powers because this is just kind of a cool interaction that most people probably won't ever get to see. So we're gonna do the spell powers real quick. This will be real quick. So I'm gonna just show off the Horn of Gondor. Heal. That needs to be a damage building. The Garden, Lone Tower. We're actually gonna wait later for this one too.
The ring has been dropped.
But we'll show everything else. The Eagles. Flood. Flood does slow down units and heroes that it damages. And finally we'll show off Horse Masters of the West.
Men of the Riddermark.
So as you can see, We get, what is this, 5 battalions of Rohirrim. We get Theoden, Merry, Eowyn, and Eomer.
I fear neither death nor pain.
We will have victory.
Oh, by the way, Gwaihir has some of his abilities the same as the Unlodged version, but let's focus on this.
Rally to me.
Anyway,
Now is the hour.
so Pippin, these guys are summoned at level 5 and they have some of their abilities, but when Pippin uses this ability here, his lighting the beacon, they will be summoned back at level 10, and they will have access to more abilities. So now, as you can see, Theoden can activate his Glorious Charge. He's level 10. He gains his armor upgrade. Theoden has a Spear Throw and the I Am No Man ability.
We will show our valor.
The land is full of dangers.
Merry gets his armor upgrade, and Theoden, of course, gets his epic Glorious Battle. I'm not going to activate right now because I want to talk about Gondor heroes. If you want to see the more about the Rohan heroes, check out the Rohan faction overview. Now back to Denethor, plus the heroes he interacts with. His final ability here is just a damage buff. Gains 75% damage but loses 25% armor. And he has that very memorable voice line from the movie. That's it. That's it. And then back to the heroes. The next hero we're gonna go over is actually Boromir.
I see it day by day.
So Boromir, when he's recruited, you have two options here. You can send him to Imladris. He keeps his kind of iconic like blue vest, I guess, with a shield on his back. Not really sure what you call that. But anyway, his outfit from the Fellowship that you see. Or you can instruct him to be the captain of the White Tower.
I will see the glory of Gondor.
So these are two different versions of Boromir. The first Palantir for each of them is the same. He has Last Stand, so when he's almost dead, he'll enter Last Stand and he'll fight on for like 10 more seconds. He gets Horn of Gondor at level 2. So he stuns nearby enemy units for a bit. And then he can switch his Palantir level 3. And at level 6, he gains Brave Resistance. He gains 100% armor knockback resistance. Also, in case you haven't noticed, when you pick Captain of Gondor, he gets his armor. His Captain of Gondor armor that you can see in the Two Towers Extended Edition. That we'll go over in a bit. So in his second Palantir for when he's Captain of Gondor, he gets War Hero of Gondor. You can click on a military building. You can click on any one of these military buildings, and it will automatically upgrade it to level 3. At level 4, he gets a leadership, allied infantry and cavalry units near Boromir, gain 50% armor. At level 7, he can grant experience to nearby units, and at levels 10, he can briefly call upon a battalion. There's some battalions of upgraded Gondor units. These guys are temporary, but they do come upgraded, and they also have the captain with them. But he does not have the bonuses, I think, that you get from Denethor.
All your life, you are hidden in the shadows, scared of
So,
who you are, of what you are.
Denethor's ability for Boromir allows him to actually toggle between which forms you want, where if you want him to go to Imladris, or if you want him to be a captain of Gondor. So, I'm going to give him the upgrade. And now we can send him to Imladris. And as you can see, Palantir is exactly the first Palantir is exactly the same. Now we get to the second Palantir. Boromir in this version is more of a support hero for heroes. Yeah, but he's still got good combat skills too. So for this, when Boromir is held as in orange, he gains 50% armor. When it's in red, he gains 100% armor. This has a lot of text, but I'll try and explain it. So if you have a hero in combat, Yeah. If you have a hero, Boromir will kind of
None of us should wander alone.
teleport. Not really teleport. He's gonna swing his way through over to him, and he will give the hero.
the White City!
Yeah, he'll attack anything in his way there.
There is evil there that does not
And then that hero will permanently receive 25% armor and damage. And if the hero is near Boromir, he'll gain another 25% armor and damage. And then if Boromir dies, that hero will deal double damage for a little bit.
What would a ranger know of this matter?
So his level 8 ability is called Madness of the Ring. This is a weapon toggle. I should actually go near units for this one. Basically, every time Boromir swings, he'll knock back enemies, and then he'll also debuff everyone around him. He'll make them lose 50% armor and resistance to fear and terror. It's going to take him a while to get there. I'm actually going to move all of these heroes closer.
Hidden in the shadows, scared of who you are, of what
Yeah, and
you
then
are.
Boromir's last ability, when he's in his fellowship form, I guess you could say, is that for each Gondor hero he's nearby, so basically all these guys, he'll gain additional 5% armor and 5% damage.
All your life, you are hidden in the shadows, scared
So-
of who you are, of what you are.
Carry the fate of us all, little one. What?
This does not
would a
work on
ranger
first stage
know of this
heroes.
matter?
So the max you can get is if all these heroes are next to each other.
Crossing even more dangerous. You
So
have
now
my
Boromir is next to all these Gondor heroes, and his base damage is 1340. That's higher than all these other heroes.
sword. The mask. So much depends on you.
And he's,
Neither living
so this is an additional 30% armor and
As long
damage.
since we had any hope. One day, our paths will lead us there. You have my sword.
Can I have some bacon? Come on! It's only a monster!
Let me show off the
This is indeed the will of the
builders
council.
real quick.
The Gondor will see it done. We suffer. I see it day by day.
Somebody stop it! We fight! Fight for the free people of Middle-earth!
I think I need a nap.
You can see
So much
there
depends on
Boromir
you.
gives the buff, knocked back all those units. Now we get the Madness of the Ring. This is not activating for some reason. There we go, there we go. So that's a pretty wide radius. He's just gonna debuff all these guys and make them afraid.
It's long since we had any.
That's pretty strong. It's every time he attacks. So he does have to keep attacking though for them to be feared.
Crossing even more
Now,
dangerous.
anyway, back to our next hero is actually going to be Faramir.
You must be vigilant. Go lightly. You mustn't let them close.
So Faramir has a weapon toggle at level 1. He gains different abilities when he's got his bow and his sword equipped. But he has this leadership. At level 1, Ithilien units close to Faramir. So your Ithilien rangers, your scouts, and as you'll see we have some swordsmen and spearmen too. They gain 20% armor, damage, range, and vision. At level 8, Faramir will permanently gain 50% armor. And then his leadership applies to all nearby allied infantry and cavalry. It's pretty much the same one. It does not double up on the Ithilien units though. This is specifically for everything that's not an Ithilien unit. So nearby allied infantry and cavalry, they gain... So the infantry gain 20% armor, damage, vision, and range. Sorry about that. And then nearby cavalry gain 25% armor, damage, and speed. That makes sense.
It's the ring. Get it quick.
Okay, he gets his deadly arrow.
Be calm.
He just like did not shoot that for some reason. Where'd it go?
We must be
Anyway. Yep, he gets his arrow. Causes nearby enemies to flee in terror, and it's good against heroes. When he's on his sword form, he gains some new abilities. So we went over this, or no, we did not go over this. So this is kind of a Blade Master. He gains 30% armor and experience gain, the double experience gain for 20 seconds. At level 6, this is like the same ability as Denethor's, funnily enough. Nearby units gain 75% damage, but lose... Okay, so they gain 75% damage and 20% speed. They lose... They also get less trample deceleration, which is good, but they lose 25% armor, so they do become weaker. So that's pretty strong. He has this grant XP ability like Boromir, but he gives significantly less XP.
Look for tracks.
And that ability is the same on both Palantirs. So his next ability is Secret Assault. So this allows you to actually summon the pool, the Forbidden Pool, which is another building and more units we're going to have to go over. And then he's got this ability called Faramir's Ambush, where you can summon some sedentary... That's not the word.
We must be vigilant.
I'll just say they're inactive rangers. You can do this up to 6 times. You can have 6 of these battalions. So these guys are unattackable, and they won't attack until you activate this ability, Ambush of the Rangers.
We will protect these lands.
And now you can use these guys. But you can't upgrade them. Yeah, you can't upgrade them, and apparently they don't have a the stance bonus.
Keep it down. Be alert, Rangers. Did you hear something? Rangers.
Anyway, so this ties into Denethor. I'm sorry I had to go on such a long tangent there. So back to Denethor. So in order for this to unlock, you actually need Boromir in his fellowship form. You need to send him to Imladris. Then Faramir can be given the Demonstrate Value ability effect. Now Faramir dons his Captain of Gondor armor, and his abilities kind of change. So the sword Palantir actually stays the same, but his arrow Palantir, bow Palantir, is kind of different. So he still gets the deadly shot. He still gets the Secret Assault, so he can summon the base, etc. But now his leadership is different when he reaches level 8. So at level 8, he gets his leadership. He still gains the armor bonus level 8. That should be written on here. So nearby infantry and cavalry gain resistance to fear and terror. Infantry gain 50% damage. Cavalry gain 50% armor. Athenian ranged scouts gain 10% speed. So all infantry and cavalry, or all infantry, will gain 50% damage. This includes the Athenian units.
It's the ring. Get it quick.
And he can also toggle between his knight form. So now Faramir can get on his horse. He has a leadership for his horse, or when he's on his horse, he grants nearby allied knights 25% armor damage. So this is at level 1. And level 8 they gain more armor damage. This leadership is kind of like weird. This toggle, he still gets the Careless Orders ability. And then he also gets the Faramir Knights. So he summons some Gondor Knights temporarily.
I think I saw potential.
Be alert. These paths shall remain safe.
Yes.
Look for tracks.
So, now that Faramir has his armor and he's demonstrated value, now we're going to go over the Forbidden Pool and what that entails. So, the Forbidden Pool has some passive effects. Allied infantry allies near the pool are actually stealthed. Yeah, all allies near the pool are camouflaged. Allied infantry units near the pool are slowly healed. You can buy this, Prepare Ambush. This basically reduces the cost of your Ithilien Rangers and Scouts. this ability, Protection of the Land, if you have Athelian units near this, they won't be camouflaged, but they will deal double damage and have resistance to fear and terror.
Keep a lookout. They won't escape. Stay quiet.
I told you Gondor would have a lot of units and stuff. So from this pool, we can still get Athelian Rangers. They're the same exact Rangers as the ones from the archery range. But you see we have these swordsmen and the spearmen. So if we click on the heroes over here, we can actually get either Madril or Damrod. And depending on which one you pick, you'll be able to unlock the swordsman or spearman. So we're going to go over Damrod because he's simpler. Than Madril.
Look for tracks.
And I think he's cooler personally. I don't know why he keeps talking it out. Okay, he's level 10. So, for Damrod, he's only got one Palantir. He can switch between his bow and his sword. When he's got his sword, he gains 50% armor and 50% damage. Can't use that while he's got the sword equipped at the moment. We'll go over the other abilities. So, Rangers near Damrod deal 50% more damage and have 25% more vision and range. For this ability, this has to do with this ability, which summons Orc Hunters. And you can have them chosen by whichever Gondor Ranger. These guys, the corpses are still not disappeared. Interesting. So you can have them led by Mablung or Unbjorn, and they get a different active ability depending on which one you summon.
It's the ring. Get it. Be watchful.
So you guys were led by Unbjorn's hunters. They get a weapon toggle. They have Hunt, briefly increase their range and vision by 25%, and they move faster. They also fire faster. Steel arrows. So that gives them more damage, I assume, and it says they knock back units. And war preparations. So this gives them armor. They lose speed, but they're more resistant. They kind of sound like the crossbows from Isengard. That's pretty cool, though. Now let's go over the other one.
Go lightly. They may be near.
The enemy could be near.
I don't know why these guys have the first stage Elven Mablung, but that's fine. So they also get a weapon toggle. These guys can go camouflage. So okay, these guys are like kind of stealthy scouts. These guys can camouflage. They also get the steel arrows, and okay, so they also get war preppers. So they can also get heavy armor and upgraded arrows. But they just get a stealthy ability. Okay.
Be alert.
And Damrod's last ability is Sniper.
Stay quiet.
And these guys like chilling. So you've probably seen this ability before. He fires very fast and does a lot of damage. I think these guys get buffed by Faramir. I hope YouTube doesn't get mad that these guys are kind of just dead laying there. So when you get Damrod, you can unlock the Athelian Spearmen. And taking their sweet time to leave the pool.
Come, Rangers. Let us scout for Gondor.
They get a porcupine formation, forge blades, and a banner carrier.
This way. Up ahead. Keep up the attack. We must be vigilant.
Yeah, so all these guys are buffed by Faramir.
Steady.
Okay, so I almost forgot to show this off. So if you instead you don't go for Damrod, you go for Madril, the ranger from Return of the King. All his voice lines are in German, so enjoy that. You actually do not need Faramir. Okay, so Madril, unlike Damrod, actually can toggle between his bow and his sword. And when you have Madril, you get the Ithilien swordsman. They get forge blades and banner carriers. Okay, so Madril. He's kind of a weird hero. So his first, this first ability here is actually unlocked level 5. He summons a guard post.
We've completed this one.
So this will be used for an ability which I'll showcase in a moment. Let me show some real quick. Where's the weapon toggle? Okay, the weapon toggle is not working right now. Anyway, there's a lot of text on this hero. So he also provides a buff to nearby Ithilien units. Rangers receive 50% armor, and other Gondor soldiers only receive 25% armor. Faramir collects experience faster when he's near Madril. And as long as he's on the field, you can recruit those swordsmen. So the next ability requires this on the field. He summons guards. Yeah. Wait a minute. Or is it this?
Die Gesetze eures Vaters.
Oh, there we go. We just had to click in the right spot. Okay, so you need this guard post, and now it summons another unit. These Sentinels of Osgiliath.
Ihr kennt die Gesetze unseres Landes.
Okay, so for his next ability, Madril and these Sentinels right here gain 100% armor damage. In addition, veteran units near Madril gain 3 times experience and banner carriers. So I guess if you have normal units near him, they also get buffed.
We have the new barracks. We've improved the barracks.
Orks verhalten sich ruhig.
Soldier battalion standing by. Come on, soldier battalion standing by. Line up, tower guard.
Ihr kennt die Gesetze unseres Landes.
Okay, yeah. So he buffs nearby units. And then the last one is honestly kind of cool. So he summons like an area of, like, I don't know how to describe this. He summons all these buildings, and then where is it? From this you can recruit rangers or soldiers. Yeah, so all these buildings are kind of like hidden structures you can recruit units out of. Not gonna lie, this is a very cool ability.
Come, Rangers, let us scout for Gondor.
It's just I think Damrod is a little bit better than Madril. But maybe it's because I can't be bothered to read Madril's paragraph abilities. Anyway. You summon this terrain and you could just recruit units out of it. I think are they cheaper? No. No discounts. Anyway. That's it for Madril. Let's go over into an easy hero now. Baragon. So he grants nearby buildings 100% armor. The attachments and walls only gain 50% armor. He can switch between his bow and his spear. Level 5, he gets the Guardians of the White Company. This actually upgrades depending on his level. These guys stop shooting. So this ability, he summons a battalion of units. Did not work on that for some reason. There you go. It will work on this. So these are actually the guys you get when he becomes level 10.
I don't see any good options here.
But when he's any level but 10, the premise is the same. You get these units. They're different though. I believe they're just swordsman, spearman hybrid. So these guys are archers. And they have also a spear wall, or a square formation with their spears. So that's pretty cool. They come with this kind of like cool white armor.
Of course, my lord. If there's any
and at level 8, he gains this ability called Savior in Trouble. So you use this on a Gondor hero, any Gondor hero, and depending on which one. So if it's any hero but Gandalf and Aragorn, they can be revived for free. I guess you can't use this on Damrod though. Okay. So any of the Gondor heroes you can recruit from the fortress, you can revive them for free, but Gandalf and Aragorn will be revived at half price. Okay.
Hail my king.
And at level 10, he summons the Guardians of the White City, or the White Company units, with his level 5. And he also grants heroes 25% armor when he's near them.
I'll be here.
Now let's go over to Imrahil. So Imrahil does not actually have stances.
We march into battle.
His stances are replaced by the leaderships you want to give to Fiefdom and Dol Amroth units. And I will just I'll just point out that this is a global leadership. Where are some Fiefdom units?
Prepare for battle.
Hey, there should be global.
Prepare for battle. Ready yourselves.
Hold on a moment. Let me just move these guys over.
As you wish.
Be alert, Rangers.
Stand ready,
Lancers. The ring has been dropped.
Be on guard.
Okay.
Hail my king.
Okay, this is not global. I think it's another version where this is actually global for some reason. So he does have to be near them. Anyway. So depending on which stance you put him in, stance in quotations, he will either grant the Fiefdom and Dol Amroth units armor, 30% armor, or 30% damage, or if you just leave him in neutral, he grants them 15% armor and 15% damage. Yes. Simple stuff. So, next thing is he's got 2 Palanters. We're going to stick on this Palantir though. He can mount his Warhorse. At level 4, this requires him to be on his horse. He temporarily gains 25% trample deceleration. At level 7, he gains kind of a Blade Master ability. Not really. Actually, no. It's a weapon toggle. So every time he attacks, he'll heal himself and nearby... No, he'll heal himself and then he will boost his damage and that of nearby Dol Amroth units by 30%. At level 10, he gains this Prince Guard summon. This changes whether he's on his horse or on the ground, so we're on his horse right now. So he summons the Prince Guard on the horse, so you get Dol Amroth Prince Guards. It's a battalion of 3 knights. So so when they're near Imrahil, he recharges his abilities 33% faster.
Hail my king.
So on the ground.
Prepare for battle.
Okay, so on the ground, he's actually just summoning the.
Leaving the rest of the force,
He's actually just summoning some Dol Amroth units. So these are special Dol Amroth units. So these are the Dol Amroth swordsmen. They can get standard upgrades. And then these are Imrahil's Vanguard Knights. They are also elite cavalry, but they get a formation instead of the charge ability that the other 2 elite cav have. and their leadership is that other allied cavalry units, so it doesn't matter which ones, gain 33% armor, and it does not work on themselves.
Men of Dorthonion, this way. Your attention is an honor, noble.
So on his second Palantir, he gains this kind of insane Blade Master ability at level 4, so he becomes immune to all damage, deals 200% damage, gains speed, and resistance to knockback. For his next ability, he actually has to be on his horse.
Making camp here, noble sire.
So this requires
Command, my liege.
him to be on his horse, and this only affects nearby cav. So Imrahil and nearby cav gain 50% armor, 50% armor, 50% crush deceleration.
Hammer for Gondor!
For the next ability, he also gets King's Favor, aka Grant Experience. And then for his last ability, we're going to summon another building to recruit units from.
We march into battle.
So this is the Dol Amroth Palace, not the Dol Amroth Citadel. It can recruit elite, these special elite units. Oh, these guys aren't elite, but these guys, this is one of the best cavalry units in the game. But anyway, this building produces a lot of resources. It's more than a farm. I believe it grants command points too. I don't remember though. You can upgrade with the banners, so it provides leadership. You can provide it with a moat, so it becomes tankier and has more health. And then you can get the Dol Amroth Guardsman and the Dol Amroth King's Guard.
With honor, sire.
We will answer Gondor's call. Knights of Dol Amroth, sire.
So these guardsmen already come out with heavy armor, so you can only get forged blades and banner carriers. Now the King's Guard, these are the best cavalry unit you guys Gondor, and they are fairly expensive. They have most health, best armor, and they deal the most damage, and they have the best abilities too. So their leadership is pretty insane at level 2. So all nearby cavalry units gain 50% armor, 50% damage, and double experience gain. At level 5, they get in the charge, 33% armor, 33% damage, and minus 50% crush deceleration. And at level 2, for some reason they can get the banner carrier. It's like one of the few elite units that can actually get a banner carrier. And look at that. At level 10, they have 2400 health. And that's their charge ability. So yeah, Imrahil. Imrahil is a crazy hero. Gondor is a crazy faction. And it's about to get even crazier as we go over Gandalf and Aragorn. But I'm going to just reload real quick because there are too many Silmarils and I don't want my game to crash. Okay, we are back. And we're actually going to go over Gandalf first because, believe it or not, Aragorn is probably one of the most elaborate and coolest heroes in the game. Okay, so Gandalf the Grey. He comes out, he has 2 planters, as he should. He gets a mount at level 5. He gets the planter switch, obviously. He has his magic bubble, his iconic bubble, that activates when enemies are nearby, so he gains 200% armor knockback resistance for a short bit. He has a very powerful leadership at level 1 too. So infantry, allied infantry, cavalry, and heroes near Gandalf gain 50% armor against hero range, flame, magic, frost, and poison damage. And he also, because he's the faction leader, he provides nearby allied units with fear resistance to fear and terror. At level 6, he gains the power of Narya. So, Gandalf has the Ring of Narya, if you know anything about the lore. It's one of the Elven Rings of Power. So you can use it for one of 3 ways once he hits level 6. So you can grant nearby allied units double damage and resistance to fear and terror for 20 seconds, or you can grant them 100% armor, knockback resistance, and trampling enemies will be stopped. Excuse me. Anyway. Armor, knockback resistance, and immediately stop trampling enemies for 20 seconds. or you can grant them 50% speed and faster experience gain for 20 seconds. So each has like a different cool effect that will show up. But then that's the end of the ring ability. See, it's on quite a low cooldown though. It's already almost back. Oh, I was waiting though. That's right. But anyway, now back to his next plan. Now we got the cool iconic Gandalf ability. So we got Wizard Blast, Lightning Sword. Let's move him over to combat so we can show off the cool abilities. Silly me. Or we can put him on his horse now. Yeah. There. So unlike the Arnor Gandalf, we actually get kind of everything straight up for 4K, which is pretty good. Or 3600 if you have the banners.
Could you do this? It is folly.
You remember this? True.
All right.
It's about knowing not to take a life.
Wizard Blast.
Back to the darkness!
And then at level 6 he gains Servant of the Secret Fire. This is a very cool ability. So you activate it. He automatically activates the bubble. And then every time he attacks, he's going to set the area around him on fire. So this is insanely good against like spam factions like Mordor, Angmar, Goblins. Now look at that. Because he's level 20, it's like melting these Gondor swordsmen, but anyway, also during this time he does gain 10% armor. So this lasts for 30 seconds. Nice. So at level 10 he gains You Shall Not Pass. This is Gandalf the Grey's word of power. Not as powerful in terms of range as Gandalf the White's word of power, but does more damage in close range, or just as much, and it's also a little bit better against buildings. Pro tip. So now it's time to show off Gandalf the White. You gotta move away from those units, though. Okay. So when you have the last fight ability, or from the last fight from the Spellbook tree, you can unlock this ability. Last fight. So we're gonna summon the Balrog and we're gonna beat him up. This would be a lot easier if I had my lightning sword, but it's whatever. All my heroes are max level. Okay. Now we have Gandalf the White. So Gandalf the White. Now he has the 200% magic damage and recharges his abilities faster. Okay. So now he has a new leadership. He no longer has the other passive leadership when he was in his grey form. So he actually gets two kind of different leaderships here. He actually buffs buildings. Buildings near Gandalf research upgrades and recruit units 15% faster. They also produce resources faster if he's sitting next to your fortress or a farm. Pro tip. And this affects all allies. Allies near Gandalf gain 15% speed and gain experience 15% faster, which is very good. He still has 2 Palantirs. He gains Shadowfax at level 5.
I'm going in alone. On no account come after me. And the old fortress.
He still has the power of Narya. I think the effect is the same. The effects are indeed the same.
It's the deep breath before the plunge.
Okay, so as the magic shield. So now we get to the combat tree, and by and large, it's pretty much the same. So the Wizard Blast and the Lightning Sword, yeah, pretty much the same. The only thing is they do a lot more damage because he has the 200% magic damage. I also think the effect is a little bit more. But anyway, now let's get to the cool new abilities. So now we have Hidden Power at level 5. Nearby enemy units and heroes are briefly stunned. Trolls will be turned to stone. And as long as the light remains, Gandalf recharges his spells 25% faster. That stacks, by the way. And deals even more magic damage.
Your pride will be your downfall.
You're in the service of the steward.
So this lasts about 30 seconds. So for 30 seconds he gains the aforementioned bonuses. Increased magic damage and recharges spells faster. We've got Light of the Istari.
This is the device of Sauron's making.
Classic ability from Vanilla. And then we have the real Word of Power, the classic Word of Power. Yeah. Now that's a Word of Power. That's it for Gandalf. Now we're gonna go over my favorite hero in the entire mod. Actually, it's between him and Sauron. Sometimes I'm more of a Sauron fan, sometimes I'm more of an Aragorn fan. But here's Aragorn. When you'll initially get him, he comes out as Strider. He's got 2 Palanters. At level 1, he has Elven Cloak. So passively, if he's near trees, he's stealth. You can also activate it, and he's stealthed as long as he doesn't move. At level 2, gains Blade Master, classic ability. Athelas, classic, just kill heroes. He gets Gift of the Evening Star level 4, so he permanently recharges his abilities 5% faster. Not a lot, but his abilities are on kind of a low cooldown anyway, so you want to be... I guess that's why they did it. At level 4, he gains his Knife Throw from the Fellowship. At level 4, he also gains this passive ability. So the effects you might have seen around him, if you've been paying attention to that, are actually bonuses he gets. If it's the red effects, he gains 50% damage. If it's the blue effects, it's 50% armor. If it's the green effects, it's 25% speed and 50% experience gain. It's a weird way to throw that, but sure. I'm all for it. So now, as we level him up to 5, he gains this ability called Knowledge of the Numenorians. You want to activate this because it's important for later. So when you activate this, it actually gives him an upgrade, and it also unlocks this ability here, called Barahir's Ring.
Do not stop till nightfall.
There's a lot of text here, but basically for, I think, a minute, the ring will be like lit on his finger.
I am Dorthonion.
Not idly to the leaves of
It's probably going to be like, I think it's also green effects, but so it's not going to show because he's got the Isildur's Era buff. Anyway, so while this is lit on his finger, nearby heroes regain 33% damage and recharge their abilities 33% faster. Let me see. Gandalf nearby. Yeah, so you see 33% damage. And they also recharge their abilities faster, so if you combine it with Gandalf, you can really get some insane cooldown reduction. And then this... all nearby enemies, so that literally lists all nearby enemies there, lose 33% damage. But you do have to be kind of close, though, as you saw with the Gandalf. So yeah, this is an insane ability. And now we're going to go into Aragorn's next form, which is when he just assumes the title of Aragorn. So if we go from Strider to Aragorn. So now we get even more abilities. We still have 2 Palanters, but we gain some new abilities. We still have our Blade Master and our Athelas, but on this Palantir we got Elendil. Classic ability, just causes units to flee in terror. Our passive ability is a little bit stronger now. So this affects not just Aragorn, but also nearby heroes.
If Sauron had the ring, we would know it.
So Aragorn nearby heroes will get the aforementioned bonuses, which are still the same. We also get Light Though a Feeling. This is an arrow volley, but it's a stronger arrow volley.
The Northern Kingdom was destroyed long
And at level
ago.
10, we get Defenders of Rohan.
We will not abandon Merry and Pippin to torment and death.
Filthy beast!
Not while we have strength left.
Evil may be
Leave all that can be spared behind.
Stench of evil must end here.
We travel light. Let us hunt some orc.
It's the ring. Get it.
Okay, so he summons Legolas and Gimli. They're temporary. They come out at level 10. They gain access to pretty much all the good abilities. So, it's quite powerful for a level 10. You've probably already seen them in the previous videos. Legolas was in the Lothlorn video and Gimli was in the Erebor showcase, so we're not going to show them off. We're going to keep going over Aragorn. So, the next part of Aragorn's path is for him to become heir of Isildur. So this is where we're going to segue into Grey Company.
The old wisdom born out of the west was forsaken.
Because we need Halbrad on the field. We'll quickly go over what we need them for Aragorn, and then we're going to go over them very quickly. So we need Halbrad on the field to unlock Inner Strength and activate Heir of Isildur. So we need to activate Inner Strength. This is very important. When you activate it, it unlocks the Oathbreakers for when he becomes LSR. And it also unlocks Barahir's Ring, which is a very good ability. And then at level 12, you also need the Andoril power, but you'll probably have it by then since that power literally leads in the Grey Company. Anyway.
I am Isildur's heir.
Ride out with me.
Alright, now Aragorn is the heir of Gondor, the heir of Isildur. We're going to quickly go over Halbarad. And just, you can see the Grey Company units. They're basically Ithilien units that can switch between sword and bow. Then you got the twins. They just have their Blade Master ability. Now Halbarad, he gets a mount. He gets his passive ability. This is just so Aragorn can actually activate some of the abilities. He gains an active buff here, so allied infantry near Halbarad gain armor, damage, and experience gain, resistance to fear and terror.
You have my thanks. For now, the enemy seems
Sorry about that.
but it seems to
had
have
to do
amounted
something.
to
So
nothing.
anyway, we're back to Halbarad. Hey guys, had a small interruption. Back to Halbarad. So we have the active ability we just went over, and then we have this ability. So you can actually keep him on the field permanently if you just keep activating this every time the timer goes toward the end, because then the ability will refresh by then. And then he gains this ability. So I'll just briefly show off these really quickly. Move Aragorn.
I am Isildur's heir.
All has been quiet. I advise you
It's
to
gonna
make your
activate.
way to Rivendell.
It activated, I think.
There was an alarm.
Maybe not.
You have my thanks.
So yeah, basically you can keep resummoning him with this, and then we get this final ability here, which is kind of insane. Glorious Death. So if you activate this, he resummons himself.
The enemy seems to have turned away.
So he makes these war cries, and nearby allied units actually just become invulnerable. And they're also immune to fear, terror, and a bunch of other things. And he can still activate this ability. But his lifetime is like really short. I think he only lasts for like 30-40 seconds.
I advise you to make your way to Rivendell.
Yeah. That's Halbrand. Now we can get back to Aragorn. So when he's the heir of Gondor, he gains access to Bregel, his mount. Can't use his sword when he's on it though. And some of his other abilities. Yeah. Some of his abilities you can't use while mounted.
You have my sword. We do not stop till night.
So he gains his Blade Master, just the icons change, and the Athelas ability. You get the Palantir switch. At level 16, you can activate this ability, called Return of the King.
My fate is my own.
Leave all that can be spared behind.
And then you get access to this ability, Men of the West.
This day we fight! By all that we hold dear, this good earth, I bid you stand! Men of the West!
Kind of pretty cool. So basically, you're going to summon Legolas and Gimli back again, but this time you'll have kind of a mix and match of units from Gondor and Rohan. So as you can see, there's some Rohan units there. There's the Rohan Royal Archers. There's some Gondor Archers there, and then what are these guys? Thalian Rangers.
The ring has been dropped.
Look like the Rohan Yeoman Archers. Yeah, there you go. They are the Yeoman Archers, and these guys are the Rangers.
Keep on your guard.
And you can upgrade them.
Quickly now. Ready your weapons.
Supposed to be given a banner carry, but I guess it doesn't want to show up. I wonder what that is supposed to even do.
Stand ready, archers.
Okay, but yeah, they can get their upgrades, and it makes them pretty good. It's just pretty cool, honestly. Just very reminiscent of the movies and the books. And then his passive ability gets upgraded again to Captain of the West. So in Aragorn form, it just affected himself. In Strider form, it affected just himself. In Aragorn form, it affected himself and nearby heroes. And now it affects everyone. They will gain either 50% damage, 50% armor, or 25% speed and experience gain for 30 seconds. Oh no, they're active for a minute. Sorry.
These borders are well protected. Some evil gives speed to these creatures.
So now he gains access to
sets its will against
some
us.
even more insane abilities.
All that can be spared behind.
You got Struggle of the Spirit, level 14. So basically all nearby enemies recharge their abilities slower and deal 50% less magic damage. I'm going to activate this. Hope this doesn't crash. Okay, we were far enough away. So yeah, this lasts for 30 seconds. We can get the infamous Oathbreakers, but it requires that inner strength is activated, so remember to do that. Otherwise this is not going to work. And we get a very large army of the dead. And we also get the King of the Dead, who also has more abilities that we can activate. We'll briefly go over him, and we'll get back to Aragorn. So he has a passive debuff here. Enemy units around him are feared and are afraid of him and lose 25% armor damage. He has an active Inspire Fear that causes enemy units to flee in terror. He has kind of a Blade Master self buff. He becomes invulnerable, but he loses speed. He can rain down a poisonous lightning, kind of like the Witch Kings, kind of similar. He can summon more Oathbreakers, and he gains a Breath of Death, his own little word of power. It does a lot of damage and also slows all enemies.
Sauron had the ring, we would know it.
And then
my fate is my own.
At level 17, he gains for Frodo.
Have any good stories for me?
This is indeed the council.
Is there no other way?
So yeah, that's for Frodo. All allies gain 75% armor, 75% damage for 40 seconds, and then nearby enemies are stunned with fear for a bit as well. And then at level 17, we can finally become King Elisar. So, King Elisar. As King Elisar, Aragorn probably becomes like the second strongest hero in the game. Behind Ring Sauron, obviously. And I guess, well, he's technically not as strong as the Valar, but, you know, heroes that you can kind of like recruit and upgrade and such. So, he gets his mount. He has the Builder Planter, obviously, for all his abilities, some of which you've seen before, so don't really have to go over them. There's not much difference. He gains this King of the West leadership. He permanently discounts heroes as long as he's on the field. They 50% less to recruit. All friendly units near him gain 50% damage, armor, experience gain, 25% speed, and immunity to fear and terror. He passively debuffs nearby enemy units, the same as the Witch King. They lose 25% arm damage. He still has his Gift of the Evening Star, 500 health, increased or decreased the cooldown of his abilities. He also gains the Scepter of Numenor, so he passively heals nearby allies. He also gains 5% armor. He has his Blade Master.
Sauron will not have forgotten the sword of Elendil.
I just wanted to play that because it has a cool effect. He has Gifted the King. So you use this on a hero that has a level 10 ability, and it unlocks specifically that level 10 ability. If the hero doesn't have a level 10 ability, it simply won't work. It also only works on Gondor heroes. Yeah. So, and then these abilities are all the same. Struggle of Spirit, Barrier's Ring. He has Elendil, which was in his Aragorn form. It just has a different icon. Oathbreakers, Men of the West for Frodo, and then the last, the unique ability he has here that he only gets in his King Elisar form is the White Tree. So this summons a fountain, but the fountain makes all nearby heroes invulnerable, and also summons these cool looking tower guards. Yeah, so as long as you protect this, your heroes are never going to die. Yeah, that's a level 20 ability. So, yeah.
You have my sword.
That's Aragorn. He summons armies, buffs them, debuffs your enemies, unlocks powers. Yeah, he's insane. This is why he's like my favorite hero in the game and one of the strongest heroes in the game. Okay, we're back. Had a minor interruption. But there's one last thing to go over for King Elisar. It's a minor thing, but it is kind of cool. So, when you become, when Aragorn becomes King Elisar, the barracks, the archer range, okay, the archer range one isn't bugged. There's supposed to be one more unit, and the stables each get new units. So from the barracks, the regular Gondor barracks with the cheap Gondor soldiers and spearmen, you can recruit these units that are typically only available from the inn, which is the Losterneck Axemen. This is kind of a large horde of Axemen. They're really good against buildings. They don't get heavy armor. You get Ringlow Vale Swordsmen.
Soldier battalion standing by.
And they each can get upgrades, but they can't get all of them for whatever reason. Like, these guys can get the banners and heavy armor. These guys can get forge blades and banner carriers. And then you also get the Pelargir Monster Slayers.
The heavy armor is ready. The forge blades are ready. We have banner carriers now.
So these guys are kind of cool. They get a unique formation where they kind of form like a crescent almost. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And then they can get heavy armor. That formation gives them 60% armor, minus 75% speed, resistance to siege damage, knockback resistance, and trampling enemies will be stopped immediately. And of course, we can get the Dol Amroth Swordsman.
Dol Amroth and Gondor! Press on! Knights of the Silver Swan!
And then from the stables, we can get Imrahil's Vanguard.
Take them this way!
Wedge formation!
So, from the archer range, we're supposed to get one more unit. I guess the command set's messed up. It used to work, but hopefully it gets fixed. So, yeah, that's the last thing for King Elisar. It's just kind of a cool thing. By the time you actually get him to level 17 or whatever to become King Elisar, these units will be obsolete. So,
we do not stop till nightfall.
Now the next thing to go over is the first stage for Gondor. So let's buy the power.
Prepare for battle! Back to the encampment! Ready! Gun's on its way! Time to start building!
Okay, so we now have the Tol Galen Fortress. Like all First State fortresses, you can get units. The Valar for Gondor is Manwe, the King of Arda. We have fortress upgrades, so we'll go over these real quick. Each one you get from leveling up. So the Eagles, which you get right away. So Eagles near the fortress, this includes the Eagles, which you'll see later are recruitable from the fortress, and the Eagles you can summon. So Eagles near the fortress gains 15% speed and 50% experience gain. The next upgrade is all allies near the fortress heal faster. The next one is allied infantry units throughout the map gain resistance to fear and terror. And then the last one is heroes. I assume it's on the entire map gain immunity to knockback. So now let's go over the units. We have our Barahir's Outlaw Axemen. You can only control 6 of these guys. They are heroic swordsmen.
Hurry! Yes, noble sire. The ring has been dropped. Heed my words,
They get an armor upgrade at level 5. Okay. So his... So this guy cannot level up first stage heroes. What about Faramir?
You have done well this day.
He cannot either.
You suffer. I see it day
I think Boromir can.
You sing, Master Hobbit.
Gondor has no king.
Valor with honor.
Gondor needs no king.
Disloyalty.
I believe Gondor can, or Boromir can. There we go. So Boromir is the only one that can level up first stage, which is good balance on the part of the developers, I guess. No, anyway, so these guys get an armor upgrade, and they slow enemies when trampling, and then they get a Blade Master at level 8. They gain double damage, 25% armor, and 10% speed.
We bring spears from
The next unit is the Nargothrond Hammers. These guys are kind of like hybrid swordsman pikemen. So they deal revenge damage, specialist revenge damage, so if they get trampled, they actually deal a lot of damage to monsters and cavalry. But they deal slash damage, I believe, so they're good against pikemen and buildings. They have a passive where enemy monsters nearby enemy monsters lose 25% speed and 75% vision. They get a defensive formation where they get 25% armor and 40% speed. So it's just a kind of a block formation there, and then they get the armor upgrade at level 5.
Forward! It's the ring! Get it! Quick! Come, Rangers! Let us
We get Barahir's Outlaws. These guys are limited to 5. These guys can swap between a bow and a sword.
White tower of Ecthelion, glimmering like a spike of pearl and silver.
They have a leadership at level 5. Nearby allied infantry gain experience 300% faster, and resistance to poison and frost damage. And at level 5 they also gain an armor upgrade. At level 7 they have the the Damrod Deadly Shooter ability, where they gain 50% damage and double their rate of fire. Also they gain fear and terror resistance, which is good too. But you have to have the bow equipped for that to work. And then the last unit you can get is actually the Valinor Eagles. So the Eagles provide fear resistance to nearby allied units. At level 5 they gain an armor upgrade, and then at level 8 they use they have Wing Blast. It's the same as Drogoth's Wing Blast or any flying monster, where they kind of pick an area below and they kind of just fly there and knock units over and deal a little bit of damage. Now let's go over the heroes.
The gates of Quel'Thalas be open to you always.
We will have justice.
Fate is kind to you.
All your life, you're hidden in the shadows, scared of who you are, what you are.
It is long since we had any hope.
Mind yourself.
Our destiny awaits. They may be near. Look for tracks.
I'm ready. I've been waiting for this. I move.
Okay. So let's go over Baron first.
Keep up the attack.
Boromir's shooting across the map, it seems. Okay, Baron. So at level 1 he gets a cloak, he stealths, and he becomes unstealthed if he attacks or is attacked. At level 4 he grants himself and Luthien 30% armor. At level 6 he can change his appearance. So if you pick a unit, he will appear as a Gondor unit, or as a Gondor swordsman.
Come on, soldier, move it.
I don't know if he actually will change. I don't know the specifics of when he will change back. Maybe if he cloaks. No. That's kind of funny though. You can't use this though on other heroes or monsters. And then for his last ability is a Blade Master. He gains 50% armor, triple damage, and 30% speed. That's kind of hilarious. Don't really use this ability though, because I just like how he looks. Or I prefer having just Baron the hero instead of a copy of an enemy. Doesn't seem like he's going to switch back. Maybe we'll see. The next hero is Finrod. Finrod's is very good. He has a passive leadership level 1, so melee infantry units in Finrod gain resistance to frost, water, flame, and fire damage. They also gain 25% resistance to magic damage and tear resistance, so that's a lot of resistances at level 1. Then at level 5, he has the passive debuff for enemy monsters. They lose 50% speed, 100% vision, and 25% armor. At level 4, he has Crystal Prison, so he pins a hero, and then the hero, well, it's a paralyze. He paralyzed the hero for 15 seconds, and the hero loses 75% armor. Excuse me. At level 6, he targets a structure, and okay, so he targets a structure, and then allied units will be regenerated near the structure for 30 seconds, and enemy units will lose 50% damage. So that's, he turns a structure into kind of like a well, and then the structure is also kind of a debuff. That's pretty good. And then he gets a Blade Master. Level 8, he gains 50% damage. He deals knockback, and then he also gains knockback immunity and immunity to frost, water, fire, and flame damage. He will also act as a well during this time, and he will replenish units to the battalions. And then his last ability is level 10. An allied Gondor hero is protected by Finarfin's Ring, so you can only put this on units from the Gondor faction.
Everything has a price.
The hero permanently gains 50% resistance to magic, water, fire, poison, force, fly into, and reflected damage types. So a lot of different damage types that he gains 50% resistance to, and most importantly, the hero's abilities recharge 50% faster. So obviously, the most track choice you want to put it on is King Alisar.
Mind yourselves.
Neither living nor dead.
And then we're actually going to save her for last. The next hero we'll go over is Thorondor, which is Manwe's messenger, I believe. King of the Eagles. The Lord of the Eagles. So he's a messenger of Manwe, Lord of the Eagles. Greatest of the Eagles of the Manwe, Lord of the Valor. Anyway, so it's a leadership of level 1. Nearby eagles gain damage, 20% damage and speed, and resistance to terror. At level 2, get Screech. At level 4, he gains 100% vision. At level 6, he gains 60% speed, 50% resistance to all damage types except flame and magic damage. And at levels 10, this is the same as the it's the same as one of the other eagle healers I went over. I forget which one. I think it might have been Landreval. It was in Imladris. Anyway, he deals 700% damage to siege units, 300% damage to monsters and heroes. Other enemies, so when he attacks, other enemies are knocked around and receive a little bit of damage. Enemy monsters and heroes near the site of Thorondor's attacks lose 20% armor, 20% damage, and 100% resistance to fear and terror. Okay, yeah, that's a powerful weapon switch. He used the Sharp Claws, which do all that. Now, let's go over Luthien.
The battle begins!
So Luthien at level 1, she acts as a well. The necklace blesses Luthien with constant health regeneration, and allied units around her heal faster. At level 10, she heals as she attacks and reduces the recharge time of all abilities for all heroes by 25%. At level 3, she can hide herself, so it's a cloak essentially.
Forward.
At level 5, she can generate terrain, which debuffs enemies, cause them to lose 50% damage, 50% armor, and 50% speed. Okay, it's actually not terrain. It's just mist. At level 8, she can summon Huan. Huan, if you've ever read the Silmarillion, is actually the Great Hound, which saves her and... is it Finrod? No. She is with someone on the Tolengoroth, and Huan saves her from Sauron, who's in his werewolf form. So, it's pretty cool. Huan has a leadership. He grants Luthien 150% armor and immunity to magic damage. And he has a freeze. Generates an icy breath that freezes all enemies for 15 seconds. that's a pretty large range. It also does a slight bit of damage too. So yeah, he doesn't have a lot of health though, so you do have to be careful with him because he might get singled out and you won't be able to get the freeze off. And lastly, we get one of the strongest abilities in the game. Luthien will sing, and every enemy on the entire map will be paralyzed for 30 seconds.
I see a man named Baron, whom I bid await me here. I pledged that I would find him before he leaves this field. This man of whom I speak, he gave his life for me. But thanks my soul grew weak, and at last it too broke free. So
Okay, so obviously I think the song is a little, she sings a little bit longer than 30 seconds, but the paralyze only is 30 seconds. So yeah, not much to say about that. It's a global paralyze. If you have access to that, the game is pretty much over. This can stun, by the way, every one of the Valor and the Maiar summoned heroes, just like she used her singing to put Morgoth to sleep in the Silmarillion. Yeah. So, before I go over the Silmarillion heroes, that's pretty much it for all the first stage stuff from the fortress. We have one more thing to show over before we go over the Silmarillion heroes. When you get the first stage when you have the first stage power, the Horsemasters of the West ability gets an upgrade. Instead of summoning the Rohan heroes, you will summon Orome. Orome is the Valar of the Hunt. He has a couple of passives here. So for his first leadership, all nearby cavalry units gain 25% speed and increased crusher level. He is protected by these Hounds of Valinor, which will attack nearby enemies. And his third leadership is nearby allied infantry and cavalry gain 700% experience. And allied heroes receive 350% experience gain. He has a spear. He's quite quick. When you switch the Palantir, he actually swaps to his bow. And
as you wish.
He can use his horn. This is the same as Tulkas' stun. And then his last ability is he can make people invisible. He can he can camouflage enemies. And as you notice, he's on a short timer because he's a summoned Valor. And they don't need to be around for that long.
The Northern Kingdom was destroyed long ago.
It's time to go over the Valor for Gondor, which is Manwe. The greatest of the Ainur, one of the Adatar, and king of the Valor. Okay, so here's Manwe. He has two Palantirs of abilities. He has a passive right here, which is split into 3 parts. So, while Manwe's on the map, all infantry, cavalry, and heroes gain constant 10% health regeneration. I believe that works in combat too. So basically, all your units and heroes become extremely hard to kill.
The scepter is mine.
The next part is that Thorondor and your Valinor Eagles gain experience 300% faster, 75% armor against pierce and hero range damage, and invulnerability to magic, frost, and hero damage. So basically makes them really tanky against arrows and the other damage types of arrows usually have on them.
Wind dances, arrows fly.
His next ability is Amon Winds, so this is a teleport.
The way is clear.
His next ability is Sulimo. So he basically summons a tornado around himself.
Wind dances, arrows fly. A pleasure.
I should probably move him over to where the enemies are.
Learn balance. A pleasure. They will learn balance. This has only begun. A pleasure.
See, I believe this is actually like the same tornado as Elrond. Elrond's level 20. It's just attached to Manwe. And Manwe actually has a ranged attack that does a lot of AoE damage. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful.
Destiny awaits us all.
Let's see his attack on the heroic units. Not bad. That's almost half. It's like 40%. Alright, his next ability is called Wind Trap. So all nearby enemies suffer moderate damage, and survivors lose 10% armor and 50% speed for 10 seconds. It also pulls people nearby. I wasn't close enough though. Next ability, he summons 3 eagles. The next ability is called Ruptured Heaven. So this is a powerful blast that you can range blast. Yep.
The scepter is mine. Discover what lies beyond. Wind dances, arrows fly.
And his next ability is Wind Blow. This is like a word of power. Okay, that was weird. It seemed like it went further in that way. But anyway, that was Manwe. He's definitely one of the strongest Valor in the game. He's not the best though at killing buildings by or bases by himself like Morgoth is. But he does have 2 planters of abilities, and you can do some crazy stuff with them. Alright, so now we're going to go over the Silmaril heroes. So our first Silmaril hero we'll be going over is Boromir.
I will see the glory of Gondor.
Why not use this ring?
Let's get this blinding light out of here.
This is indeed the will of the council. Gondor will see it done.
Depends on you.
So, for his leadership, all recruited battalions come with a banner carrier, and allied units around Boromir receive 100% armor and double damage. So, for the first part, if you recruit units and they can receive the banner carrier, it'll just automatically be given to them. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But 100% armor and double damage is nothing to scoff at. He still has the Horn of Gondor. He gets a planter switch level 3. This ability gets an upgrade, so he becomes invulnerable instead of just 100% armor. And he still has the weapon toggle where he debuffs everyone when he attacks. His next Palantir is his Captain of Gondor abilities. So he can still level up a military building level 3. He can dash in and provide a buff to the hero.
One day, our paths will lead us there.
He can level up units, and then this ability is upgraded. Instead of the upgraded like basic Gondor units, he summons the Guardians of the White City.
I see it day by day.
Yeah. So that's Boromir with the Silmaril.
Scared of who you are, of what you are.
One piece of information though you should know is that if he dies, something very, very bad happens, and that is that your buildings will be disabled for, I believe, 30, maybe 40 seconds, because everyone is very sad when Boromir dies, just kind of like in real life. So yeah, don't let him die, otherwise your buildings are disabled, and that can really really screw you over sometimes. Okay, now we're gonna show Gandalf the Grey with the ring, or with the Silmaril.
Prepare for battle.
And thus the battle was won.
And the game of golf invented at the same time.
So when Gandalf the Grey takes the Silmaril, he becomes corrupted, and he becomes evil. So he's got 2 Palantirs. He's much slower than in his normal form, or when he is the white. So he has a his passive here is all units near him are weaker to fear and terror effects, and cower in fear when near Gandalf. This affects your own units, as shown here, and it also affects enemy units. So there's the Palantir switch. Let's move him over. So his next ability is for a short time, Wrath of the Mire. For a short time, all nearby enemies fear Gandalf and lose 50% armor. Enemy heroes are paralyzed, and after that, Gandalf moves faster and attacks faster. Did you see all these people are afraid of him? I think, and if you use it closer, they'll actually be stunned, I believe. The next one is Gandalf's Words. So he summons darkness for 2 minutes, and during this time he gains 200% magic damage, 25% speed. His abilities recharge faster, and he is immune to magic damage. Okay. So for his set of ring abilities in his corrupted form, they are a little bit different. So they deal more, but they also come with a drawback. So for 20 seconds, nearby allied units gain 250% damage, but no longer gain experience, and instead of what I believe is just double damage in his gray form and the white form. And then for this one, nearby allied units receive 150% armor but lose 40% speed. And then the last one is nearby allied units receive health but lose 25% damage and armor for 20 seconds. And that's cool. It's a cool effect. So on his next Palantir, this is kind of similar to his Wizard Blast, but he does it from a little bit further away. Yeah, it's probably better to be closer when using that. And then he has the Glamdring still. He shoots red lightning. He still has his light, his Astari light, but it's evil, so it shoots the red light. And then he has the Dark Word of Power. So this is a stronger Word of Power than his other two, than when it's just Gandalf the Grey and when he's Gandalf the White. This also has a bonus effect of insta-killing Ents, kind of a niche a niche side effect. Also, it will knock back away everything, so enemy units and allied units, but it's not going to deal damage to allied units. Okay. Now that's Gandalf the Corrupted. A Silmaril, he'll be Gandalf the White with the Silmaril. And what does Gandalf with the White become when he has the Silmaril?
In the game of golf
He becomes Gandalf the Challenge Master.
You suffer. I see it day by day.
My God. Get these guys out of here. Alright. Gandalf the Challenge Master. So the bubble, I believe, is just always on with him. So there's that. Yeah, it's not even a passive on here anymore. So Orome, which is Gandalf's Mire name. All allied heroes and units near him gain 75% armor, 75% damage, resistance to fear and terror, recharge their abilities faster, and slowly heal. That is an amazing passive. Amazing. This affects heroes, which is absurd. And then he still has his Wizard Blast called Magic Shock, but of course it's eons more powerful. He can switch to Palantir. He gets Shadowfax. He has upgraded versions of the Ring of Narya. So nearby allied units and cavalry gain 225% damage and resistance to fear and terror for 20 seconds. I should not have activated that. Okay. Nearby allied infantry and cavalry units gain 200% armor, knockback resistance, and stop enemies from trampling for 20 seconds. Glorious Victor. Nearby allied units gain 50% speed, 300% experience gain for 20 seconds, and then the last one is nearby allied units are temporarily immune to magic, frost, fire, and poison damage. And they all get different effects, of course.
The old fortress is abandoned. It remains to be seen.
So, actually, let's be a lot quicker. Don't know what those guys are doing.
The ring has been dropped. So be it. Enemy is not yet ready to reveal himself.
So, now we can use his combat abilities.
This is a fine chance.
So that looks pretty much the same, but does more damage. So he still has Glamdring. This ability is different though. So this is similar to his Gandalf the White Hidden Power, I believe it's called. So this stuns nearby units and paralyzes heroes, in turn trolls to stone, and he gets abilities recharge faster, his magic attacks deal 50% more damage, but this actually does damage, I believe, and it paralyzes heroes instead of stunning them, like he just killed those units. And these guys are stunned, yep. So, yeah, the difference is substantial in this one, where he can paralyze heroes and actually kill units by activating them. He also gets a Lightning Storm, kind of like Sauron's, but it's not as strong. Okay, and then of course he gets the Bright Word of Power. The range on that's quite far. And the unique thing about this Word of Power is any survivors, which includes heroes, lose 50% armor for 25 seconds. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's it for Gondor. That's sorry. That's the end of the faction overviews. So from now on, all the videos will be gameplay. There's a lot of cool... I'll think of some cool things to do against the AI. Of course, we got the awesome wave defense maps. There's also... We'll do some also just like normal games against the AI, and yeah. We'll see what the developers do. I'll see you later, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Peace.